So what do you do for work? If I had $1 for every time I had that conversation while meeting someone new, I would be very rich. We boil each other down to a profession right from the start. It's so standard for an icebreaker that no one bats an eye. As a society, we have a hustle culture that is instilled in us from such a young age. The higher you are in the work world, the more value you have. This is how I felt for a majority of my life. I remember asking the questions, why do we go to school? Well, it's to learn. What are we learning for? Well, you need to learn skills so you can get a job and be successful. I had these conversations more than a few times when I was younger. I started my first job at 13, working at a bakery as a cashier. I quickly learned the ins and the outs of customer service and dealing with tough situations. I learned how to handle unpleasant customers and the feeling of being less for how I was treated at times. Regardless of what the day looked like, I had a job. I had purpose. I earned money for myself and it felt great to be contributing to society. Looking back, it's crazy to me that I felt that at such a young age. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how much I put my identity in work and how it would follow me for years to come. I remember my first day of high school. I sat down with my academic advisor to go over my schedule for the year. One of his first questions was, what do you want to do when you graduate high school? Keep in mind, I had just left the 8th grade entering freshman year. The only thing I was concerned about was getting home and playing Xbox for the night. The scope of the future was not ever a thought that crossed my mind. I responded with, I have no idea. This question was daunting to me. I was just there to learn and have fun with my friends. I never thought about adult life. Towards the end of high school, I still got extremely anxious about that question as I had no answer. I really have to pick something to do for the rest of my life already? This seemed crazy to me. I worked my way through college and got a degree in physical therapy. I felt accomplished. I finally reached the point where I could provide for a family in the future. Over the next few years, I quickly came to realize the profession I went to college for was not something I wanted to do long term. I burned out fairly quickly and felt trapped. My degree was very specific to my profession and I felt like there was nowhere to go. But my identity was in my job, so I had to stick it out. I didn't want to quit because that means I failed. And to me, I felt that failure in a job meant people would love me less. Human nature is beautiful, but it can be extremely harmful at times. We are all looking for love, and sometimes we try to get it in the wrong places. For me, I looked for it through what I did on a daily basis. This was detrimental to my self-worth. Chasing love through a job led me nowhere but back to the start. Maybe if I could get a better job, I would be happier. This was undeniably false as I tried many different careers, leading to no solutions. The emphasis on putting your head down and grinding through the struggle, even if it meant sacrificing who you were, wasn't something I wanted to continue. Another problem I had, like many others, is comparison. Living in such a materialistic world, we see firsthand into the lives that people live on social media, or I could say the lives that people want us to see them living. To me, social media is just a comparison trap. You see everyone's quote-unquote best. I won't dive more into the dangers of this, as it's not really the focal point of the video, but as we all know, comparison is the thief of joy. I thought if I could obtain a better position in the workforce, I could achieve the things I saw online and be happy. I also had the feeling of being left behind. I saw people buying houses, cars, and other big life purchases, and I wasn't. This took me a while to grasp, but please know, there is no set timeline for your life. There is no race to accomplishments. This is your life, not someone else's. At the end of our lives, there will be no awards for accomplishing things faster than others. Now, this isn't some anti-work essay fighting against capitalism. I made this video to encourage those who may have experienced this or still struggle with work identity. I also don't have this completely figured out myself. I still struggle with this topic to this day, and that's okay. It's about improving yourself to get the most out of life you can, by not living through the scope of a job. And I want you to know you are way more than your career. You have value, you matter, and you are not alone. I guarantee you there are thousands of people going through something similar, including me. What's true for you is true for others. It doesn't matter if you work in a restaurant or trade stocks on Wall Street. It hurts me when I see people talk about their professions with shame because they feel inadequate. Everyone is just trying to make it by. Life is not easy. We are all human, and dissecting yourself down to a profession is such a disservice to your growth as a person. We are all beautifully made with many things to offer to this world. I beg you, don't let your job take away your identity. I believe in you. You got this. Until next time, my friends.